Hello, and welcome to this presentation for health educators. My name is Maya Moroto, and I'm a public health educator at the U.S. Food and Drug Administration's Center for Food Safety and Applied Nutrition. I'm also a registered dietitian. This presentation was developed to help health educators understand the science behind the recent changes to the new nutrition facts label, the first major update in over 2 decades. We hope this talk will allow you to more effectively answer any questions your clients or patients may have, and help you present to general audiences about the new label. In this presentation, we'll touch briefly on FDA's food responsibilities and then go over the changes and updates to the nutrition facts label. After that, we'll provide information on how to access FDA's nutrition education materials and resources and how to stay in touch with FDA. As a bit of background, about 20 cents of every consumer dollar in the United States is spent on FDA-regulated products such as food, medical devices, and tobacco. FDA regulates the safety and labeling of about 75% of all foods consumed in the United States. This includes almost all the food we consume, except for meat, poultry, and some egg products, which are regulated by the U.S. Department of Agriculture, USDA. FDA is responsible for providing accurate and useful information in food labeling, as well as encouraging manufacturers to offer healthier products. FDA works in close collaboration with other federal agencies, including the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, the National Institutes of Health, NIH, and the USDA, as well as many other federal partners. Here are some key dates for the Nutrition Facts label. In 1990, the Nutrition Labeling and Education Act was passed, providing FDA with the authority to require nutrition labeling for most foods regulated by the agency. In 1993, the Nutrition Facts label was required on packaged foods for the first time in American history. In 2006, trans fats were required to be listed on the label, which researchers have estimated resulted in an 80% drop in trans fat consumption. We should also note that since then, FDA has determined that partially hydrogenated oils, sources of artificial trans fats, are no longer generally recognized as safe and may no longer be used in foods with very few exceptions. To ensure that the public has access to up-to-date and accurate nutrition information about the foods they are eating, it was time to make changes to the Nutrition Facts label. In 2014, FDA issued a proposed rule to update the Nutrition Facts label and received feedback from many stakeholders, including consumers, health professionals, and regulated industry. After reviewing the public feedback, FDA released the final rule in 2016. The FDA-regulated label changes are based on updated scientific information, nutrition and public health research, more recent dietary recommendations from expert groups, and input from the public. Again, this is the first major update to the Nutrition Facts label in over 20 years. The new Nutrition Facts label is required on food products as of January 1, 2020 for manufacturers with $10 million or more in annual food sales, and by January 1, 2021 for manufacturers with less than $10 million in annual food sales. Here's a side-by-side comparison of the original label and the new label. You can see that we've kept the iconic look and feel of the label. Here's an overview of the major changes made to the label. The number of servings is listed in a larger, bolder type. Serving sizes have been updated. Calories are listed in a larger type. The daily values have been updated. Added sugars are now listed. The nutrients required to be listed at the bottom of the label have changed. The actual amount of each nutrient is now included, and the footnote has been updated. We'll walk through each of these changes on the following slides. The calories and serving sizes have been updated to focus attention on information that is important for addressing current public health problems like obesity. The type size of calories, servings per container, and serving size have been enlarged. The order of the serving size and servings per container has been reversed, and the calories and serving size declarations have been emphasized with bold font. We'll talk about serving sizes in more detail later in the presentation. This slide explains the changes to the dietary fiber listing on the label. The new Nutrition Facts label final rule states that fiber that is intact and comes from plants is automatically included in the new definition of dietary fiber. Any isolated or synthetic fiber must have a beneficial physiological effect on human health, such as improved laxation or lowering cholesterol levels, in order to be included in the dietary fiber declaration on the label. The new definition of dietary fiber aligns with the 2005 recommendation from the National Academies of Sciences, Engineering, and Medicine, formerly the Institute of Medicine. Added sugars is now required to be listed on the label, along with percent daily value. The original label had information about sugars, and on the new label, this is now listed as total sugars. Total sugars are listed in grams, and underneath that information, there is an indented line that says includes X grams added sugars, along with a percent daily value for added sugars. Having the word includes indicates that added sugars is a subcomponent of total sugars. Added sugars include sugars that are added during the processing of food and foods packaged as sweeteners, such as table sugar, maple syrup, or honey. The next slide will cover the way added sugars are labeled on various products. The rationale for including information on added sugars is based on scientific evidence underlying the 2010 and 2015 to 2020 dietary guidelines for Americans, which support reducing caloric intake from added sugars. Also, expert groups such as the American Heart Association recommended lowering intake of added sugars. It's difficult to meet nutrient needs while staying within calorie requirements if individuals consume more than 10% of their total daily calories from added sugars. And so, the daily value for added sugars is 50 grams, based on a 2,000 calorie per day diet. Labels for foods and beverages with added sugars, shown on the example on the left side of the slide, will list the number of grams of total sugar, the number of grams of added sugar, and the percent daily value for added sugars on their labels. Note that there is an exception. Labels on packages and containers of single ingredient sugars and syrups, such as table sugar, maple syrup, or honey, shown on the example label on the right side of this slide, will list the number of grams of total sugar and the percent daily value for added sugar within the Nutrition Facts label. The label may also include a footnote that provides the number of grams of added sugars that a serving adds to the diet, as well as how that amount contributes to the percent daily value for added sugars. FDA's goal with the single ingredient sugar labeling is to help consumers understand that these single ingredient sugars have no additional sugars added to them, while also conveying the amount of added sugars that a serving of the product adds to the diet. Manufacturers of single ingredient packages and/or containers of pure honey, pure maple syrup, and other pure sugars and syrups have until July 1st, 2021 to comply with the updated labeling requirements. Daily values are reference amounts of nutrients that are used to calculate the percent daily value on the label. The daily value can be a goal or a recommended limit, depending on the nutrient. For example, it's recommended that people consume at least 28 grams of dietary fiber each day, and the recommended limit for saturated fat is less than 20 grams per day. On the new Nutrition Facts label, daily values for nutrients like dietary fiber, sodium, and vitamin D have been updated based on newer scientific evidence from the National Academies of Sciences, Engineering, and Medicine, and other reports such as the Dietary Guidelines Advisory Committee report, which is used in developing the dietary guidelines for Americans. As you see from this slide, some of the daily values have increased and some have decreased, which may change the percent daily values that consumers see on both nutrition and supplement facts labels. Consumers should be aware that in cases where the daily value for a nutrient increased, the percent daily value may be lower on the new nutrition or supplement facts labels. Alternately, in cases where the daily value decreased, the percent daily value may be higher on those foods or supplements. For example, the daily value for vitamin D has doubled from 400 international units, equivalent to 10 micrograms, to 20 micrograms. So consumers may be wondering why the percent daily value has gone from 100% to 50% in a particular supplement. They may think the supplement manufacturer has changed the product, when in reality, the change is due to the updated daily value for vitamin D. The percent daily value helps put the information into context for consumers by showing the percentage of the daily value that one serving of the food provides. In addition to updating the daily values on both the new nutrition and supplement facts labels, the actual units of measure have changed for some nutrients, including folate, niacin, and vitamins A, D, and E. To return to the previous example of vitamin D, on the original nutrition and supplement facts labels, vitamin D was listed in international units, and on the new labels, it will be listed in micrograms. So the updated daily value for vitamin D reflects both an increase in the numeric value and a change in units of measure for vitamin D. One thing that has not changed is FDA's 520 guideline, which states that if a serving of a food contains 5% or less of the daily value of a nutrient, it's considered to be low in that nutrient. And if a food contains 20% or more of the daily value of a nutrient, it is considered to be high in that nutrient. We encourage you to educate your clients about this 520 rule of thumb and to encourage them to more often choose foods that are lower in nutrients such as saturated fat, sodium, and added sugars, and higher in nutrients such as dietary fiber, vitamin D, calcium, iron, and potassium. The nutrients of public health concern, the vitamins and minerals listed at the bottom of the label, have also changed. On the original label, these nutrients were vitamin A, vitamin C, calcium, and iron. In the early 1990s, American diets lacked these vitamins and minerals. However, more recent nutritional research indicates that vitamin A and vitamin C deficiencies are rare today. So vitamins A and C are no longer mandatory on the label, but can be listed voluntarily. Additionally, according to nationwide food consumption surveys, such as CDC's National Health and Nutrition Examination Survey and Hanes, vitamin D and potassium are nutrients Americans don't always get enough of, and when lacking, are associated with increased risk of chronic diseases. Vitamin D is important for bone health, and potassium helps to lower blood pressure. Calcium and iron continue to be required on the label. In addition to updates on the vitamins and minerals listed on the label, the new label now includes the absolute amounts in milligrams or micrograms in addition to the percent daily value. This information was added because FDA received feedback on the proposed rule from healthcare professionals who thought information on the absolute amount of nutrients would be helpful to their patients. Calories from fat was removed from the nutrition facts label because current federal dietary guidance indicates that the type of fat, for example, limiting exposure to saturated and trans fat, is more important than the total amount of fat, which also includes mono and polyunsaturated fats. Finally, the footnote on the nutrition facts label has been revised to better explain the percent daily value. It now reads, the percent daily value tells you how much a nutrient in a serving of food contributes to a daily diet. 2,000 calories a day is used for general nutrition advice. Now, back to serving sizes. Some serving sizes have changed because by law, the serving sizes must be based on the amounts of food and drink people typically consume, not how much they should consume. Recent food consumption data showed that some serving sizes needed to be revised. For example, the reference amount, also called the reference amount customarily consumed for soda, was previously 8 ounces and has changed to 12 ounces, and the reference amount for yogurt decreased from 8 ounces to 6 ounces. Nutrient information on the new label will be based on these updated serving sizes. It is important to educate consumers that serving sizes on food labels are not a recommendation of how much to eat, but are based on the amount of food that Americans typically consume at one time. This slide illustrates the change in serving size for ice cream. On the left side, based on the original label, the graphic shows that 1 pint of ice cream is 4 servings and provides 200 calories per serving. On the right side, based on the new label, the graphic shows that 1 pint of ice cream is 3 servings and provides 270 calories per serving. Another change is related to single-serving packages. Single-serving packages that typically provide less than 2 servings per container, that is less than 200% of the reference amount customarily consumed, must declare the calories and other nutrients for the entire package rather than per serving, because people typically consume the entire package in one sitting. So, for example, a serving of a carbonated beverage is 12 ounces. But a carbonated beverage in a 20-ounce package would need to declare the calories and nutrients for the entire package because it contains less than 2 servings per container. This change eliminates the need for consumers to perform calculations on many packaged foods they may consume in one sitting. The last change we'll discuss is dual column labeling. Dual column labeling is required on packages that can be consumed in one or multiple sittings. On these labels, nutrition information is presented both per serving and per package. This dual column labeling requirement is for packages that contain between 2 and 3 servings, 200% to 300% of the reference amount customarily consumed. For example, a 3-ounce or 90-gram bag of chips will be labeled both per serving, 1 serving is 1 ounce or 30 grams, and per package, 90 grams. This is another change to help consumers understand the nutritional content of the foods they eat when or if they consume more than 1 serving. The new Nutrition Facts label is available in several different formats for various types of packages and in a bilingual format, which is shown here as well. All the formats shown here and many others can be found on FDA's website, which I'll provide at the end of this presentation. Please visit www.fda.gov/nutritioneducation for the latest resources and educational materials on the Nutrition Facts label and other FDA nutrition topics. You'll find many resources to help you teach the Nutrition Facts label to your patients and clients, including Read the Label for tweens, parents, and health educators, Science in Our Food Supply nutrition modules for middle and high school teachers to use with their students, and the Nutrition Facts label continuing medical education program for physicians and healthcare professionals to learn practical tips for counseling patients on using the Nutrition Facts label to make informed choices that support a healthy diet. This page features many additional resources and is updated regularly, so be sure to check back often for new materials. You can also subscribe to CIFSAN's News for Educators e-newsletter by entering your email address on this site. This newsletter will help you stay up to date with our latest educational offerings. Please stay in touch with FDA's nutrition updates by following us on Twitter at FDA Food or by following at Dr. Main FDA Food. That's the Twitter handle for Dr. Susan Main, the director of FDA's Center for Food Safety and Applied Nutrition. There's also an FDA Pinterest board called US FDA, and we're on Facebook at FDA. You may also want to subscribe to FDA consumer updates and FDA constituent updates at the URLs listed here. Thank you for joining today. We hope it was helpful in explaining the science and rationale behind the changes to the Nutrition Facts label. If you have questions or comments, please feel free to contact the Center for Food Safety and Applied Nutrition at 1-888-SAFE-FOOD, 1-888-723-3366, or go to cifsan.force.com/inquiry page. And please visit www.fda.gov/nutritioneducation to stay up to date on our latest nutrition-related consumer education resources. Thanks for watching.